Hello everyone and welcome back to my Valorant agent guide. Today in this guide we'll be working on Sova. In this guide I'm going to be going over basically all of Sova's abilities, some tips and tricks for all of his abilities, what maps Sova is good on, and what you really need to know if you want to play this agent. So let's start with what maps he's great on. And for this, we'll start in Ascent. Now, Sova's good on plenty of maps. He's very good on a lot of them. But he's very strong on Ascent. Why? It's because almost every single wall in Ascent is super wall bangable with heavy weapons. So like all these walls, this wall, this wall, this wall, like this wall as well. Almost every single wall, besides a couple in Ascent, are wall bangable. And since Sova has a recon dart where he can scan people, it makes him very strong on this map in particular. So yeah, that's why Sova's really good on Ascent. Starting with Sova's second best map is going to be Abyss. Now Sova is really good on Abyss because he's really good at clearing out the mid space with his arrows. Lots of people like to play Cypher and Deadlock on this map. So Sova is really good at chalking away all of his trips that he throws. Yeah, Sova's really strong on this map. He's really good at clearing back sight on offense, and when people are entering while he's on defense, he's really good at shooting high arrows and spamming through smokes. Now, unlike Ascent, this map is not very wall bangable. There's not a lot of spots in this map that are really shootable through walls. As you can see, there's very thick walls on this map, but he's very good at getting info, and he's very good at spamming through smokes because it's such a wide open map. Moving on to another one of Sova's best maps, it has to be Haven. Now, if we look at Haven, this map it's kind of like halfway between Abyss and Ascent. But as you can see, the sights are very wide open. There's lots of places to land really good darts that scan a majority of the site. But this map also has a lot of wall bangable walls, right? So places like this wall, you can actually shoot into a lobby even from here through this doorway. You can shoot through there. You can spam through this wall.
Right here.
Everyone likes to spam window at the start. It's really good for getting an early possible kill. Almost all of Garage is spammable. You can break these doors. You can break this wall. Lots of Haven is very spammable, but there's also, as you can see, there's very wide open sites where a good Sova dart will give their team a lot of util. So yeah, this is why I think Sova is really good on Haven as well. And the final map that I believe is really strong for Sova is going to be Icebox. The reason Sova is really strong at Icebox is because this very wide open A main area where Sova loves to play. Now on the offense, the enemy team will love fighting for this A main area. They love fighting on pipes, they love fighting in the nest. So shooting an arrow here at the start of the round can get your team info on whether the enemy team is pushed up. And it's very necessary for getting info and fighting this A main area. Also, when you go B on Sova, KJ loves to put her Molotovs right on the default plant spot. So having a Sova that can shock and destroy the mollies, allowing your team to plant, is essential in my opinion. Clearing out this B main area is very hard. There's so many angles, there's so many corridors, there's so many places people can play. So having a Sova on your offense that can drone it out at the start of the round is very good. It's very beneficial to have on your team. Yeah, that's why I think Sova is strong in Icebox. Now, we're going to quickly go over, well, maybe not quickly, but we will be going over every one of Sova's abilities, starting with his Owl Drone. Equip an Owl Drone, fire to deploy, and take control of the movement of the drone. While in control of the drone, fire to shoot a marking dart. This will dart and reveal the location of any player struck by the dart. Enemies can destroy the Owl Drone. So basically, you take it out, you left click to fire it, and now you're going to drone. Just like that. Now, there's a couple of things you'll notice when you're inside the drone. On the left side, you'll see there's a little HP bar, and on the right side, there's a lightning bolt. When you shoot your scan, the lightning bolt will recharge, and then once it's full again, as you can see, you can shoot another bolt. Each one of these bolts will scan an enemy and will ping them 3 times. Actually, it might be 2 times. Let me check. So you drone. Oh wait, let me activate a bot. So I drone, you shoot a bot, and then it'll scan 1, 2. It'll only scan twice. So during that time, the enemies will be scanned, and then one of the good things about Sova is if you're playing with a high pen weapon, you can shoot through the wall and kill that bot using the tag from your drone. It's also very good at clearing spaces, so if we didn't know if there was someone in this building, we'd use the drone, we'd clear it, and then we would know that it's clear, allowing our team to push through. And that's why Sova is an initiator, because he can take space for his team and give his team lots of info. Owl drone costs 400 credits to buy, and it's one of Sova's best abilities. It's really strong at clearing space. Moving on to the second ability, we got the shock dart. Equip a bow with a shock bolt. Fire to send an explosive arrow bolt forward, detonating on collision and damaging players nearby. Hold fire to extend the range of the projectile. Alt fire to add up to 2 bounces to this arrow. Now, shock arrow. As it said, you can right click and it'll fill these little diamonds at the bottom. These will add a bounce to your shock dart. So, let's say that there's an enemy in this corner,
right here,
and I was over here. Instead of walking at them and shooting them like that, I could just simply add a charge and bounce it off the wall to kill the person. But as you can see, there's also a charge bar where I can pull it, and then the harder I pull it, the farther it shoots. The reason this charge bar is kind of here is for lineups. So there's the 1 bar, which is like this. There's the 2 bar, which is like this. And then there's the 3 bar, which is the max distance it can go, and it goes really far. For lineups, this is very important to like keep note of when you do lineups in Sova. It's like, oh, I need 1 bar. And then making sure that you always have 1 bar every single time will allow your shock darts to always land in this exact same spot. Cool. The shock dart also costs 150 credits to buy, each one of them. There's 2 of them that you get in a round, and they each deal 75 damage. So if you perfectly hit someone twice with a shock dart from 150 HP, they can go down to 0 and die. Sova is really strong with characters that have vulnerables like ISO, because ISO can throw the vulnerable at them, and then Sova can shoot his shock dart, allowing a 1 shot, because the vulnerable will make them take 2 times damage, and the shock dart does 75 times 2, 150. That's an instant kill. Alright, second ability, we got the recon bolt. Equip a bow with a recon bolt. Fire to send the recon bolt forward, activating upon collision and revealing the location of nearby enemies caught in the line of the bolt. Enemies can destroy this bolt. Hold fire to extend the range of the projectile, and alt fire to add up to 2 bounces. It's pretty much just like the shock bolt, except instead of shock, it's a recon bolt where it lands and it'll scan the enemies. As you can see right there, you can see them through the walls, every single person that's scanned.
There they are, right here.
Just like that. And then you could obviously spam through the wall and kill the bots or the enemies in the game. Now the recon bolt is 1 shot to any weapon. The recon bolt is 1 shot to anything. Anyone that shoots it, it'll instantly break. And you, just like the other ability, you have charges 1, 2, 3 that are different distances, and you can add charges. So if you want to bounce it off the ceiling or whatever, if you have lineups, that's how it works. If I was in an actual game, there'd be a mini map, and it would show how long or like how wide the recon bolt spreads until it falls off. Tip for the recon bolt though, it only goes a certain amount down and wide. So if I shoot it all the way up here, you can see it scan down and then hit the floor. But if I shot it somewhere like up here, it would come down, but it would only end right there, meaning it would not scan any player on the floor. So you can't just land it on any single roof. It has to be near to the ground, kind of, for it to actually fully scan people. This one, it's still too tall. It won't quite hit someone. All a recon bolt has to do though is actually hit your head, and that is enough to scan you. If it hits you, it doesn't have to hit your entire body, just your head. So if I was standing here, even though it goes only to here, it still would hit my head and would scan me. So that's a quick tip about the recon bolt. Moving on to the Hunter's Fury, Sova's ultimate. Equip a bow with 3 long-range wall-piercing energy blasts. Fire to release an energy blast in line in front of Sova, dealing damage and revealing the location of enemies caught in the line. This ability can be reused up to 2 more times while the ability timer is active. So, just like it said, press X and you have this bow. You can shoot it 3 times, and each time it'll do 80 damage. That means you have to hit someone 2 times to kill them, or if they're vulnerable from someone like an ISO vulnerable, or from a Viper molly Those are two things that make someone vulnerable. If they're hit with that, Sova ult is a one-shot. And it doesn't just hit once, it can pierce walls. So if there's someone inside this building, I can shoot like this and kill them. And it can hit multiple targets at the same time. Sova's ult is probably... It's a very good ultimate, I'd say. A quick thing that it doesn't say in the tooltip, but something you should know is it does scan people when you hit someone with a Sova ult. So if I turn on practice to get a bot and I ult them through the wall, it'll show me that I've hit them, so I can hit them again and know that there's something there. Right. So yeah, that's something you gotta know. Also with the Sova ult, kind of similar to Ray's ult, is it actually gives you recoil. So I'm standing here, shoot it, and it bumps me back to here at the end of the shot. You can shoot the Sova ult 3 times, but something you gotta know with the recoil is you can actually use it to your advantage. And you can actually use it to boost yourself up places that you normally can't get to. So I want to look for a box that I normally couldn't jump to. So something like this over here. If I come over here, I can't jump up to this. I'm too short. But if I Sova ult, look at the ground and shoot, it'll actually boost me high enough to get on top of this box. So does this have any legs in an actual match? Maybe not. I've done it a couple times and it can catch people off guard because they don't expect someone like Sova, who has no movement abilities, to actually be able to get up on these high ground scenarios. But normally you don't want to use your ult just to get up on top of something. But there is a scenario for it in a game and it is possible. So just want to keep that in your mind in case you ever are in a scenario where it could be useful. But yeah, Sova's a pretty easy agent. He's not that difficult. He's very good with the Odin and the Ares. These are high penetration weapons that can wallbang people. And when Sova, if you're playing behind a wall, Sova can scan someone, and then using a high penetration weapon like the Ares, you can wallbang people and get a bunch of kills. So this is why Sova is a really strong agent. He has things like the Shock Dart, his ultimate, and his wallbangs to get lots of damage in per round, while using stuff like his Owl Drone and his Recon to get lots of info on where the enemies are playing. This is why Sova is a really strong character in the meta right now. He's pretty much always been a strong character, and he's definitely played on the maps that I listed before: Ascent, Haven, Icebox, Abyss. These are really strong maps for Sova, and I really recommend you play him on these maps because he's a really strong agent. One thing you gotta know if you really want to become a very good Sova player is you have to learn lineups, unfortunately. Lineups are very important to getting info and getting pressure across the entire map. And for those that don't know what a lineup is, it's basically a spot on a map where you know if you stand in a corner, you look at this corner of the wall, and then you shoot 2 charges, well, that arrow will land on A site, let's say, for example. So if you're playing on B site and the enemy set and your teammates say, hey, they're coming to A, you shoot a recon bolt for them and you help them out without actually have to leave or moving. So it's a really strong thing about Sova and a bunch of agents that you should learn, especially on Sova, if you want to become a very good player. But yeah, that's all I really have for today. I appreciate you watching the whole video. If you made it through, like and subscribe. I post opinions and memes on my Facebook if you want to look at those. These are Valorant related. And I post TikToks with even shorter guides if these are much too long for you and you just want like very short form content. I post guides, I post how-tos, and they're all very centered towards beginner players. So if you're a beginner player and you're looking for ways to improve, check out my TikTok, Valorant Tutoring. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Bye.